Hello and welcome to the first episode of Drilling Free Taobao Trash. They finally finished. No more drilling for the next couple days. So on today's episode, we're gonna do something a little different. And we're gonna make a tier list, specifically in the running shoes department. It's not news that China's famous for knockoffs. My personal favorite is the kind where they put a famous company's logo on a product that they would never make. Now, to start off the tier list, the top of the line knockoff is a special kind. The kind where, because China has such a huge market, they make a knockoff and it does so well that they buy out the original company and become the real thing. And our example here is TikTok. Ooh. Do you know where TikTok came from? It used to be Musical.ly. Some Chinese company made a carbon copy of the app, threw it up in the App Store, and it did so well that they bought Musical.ly, merged the two companies, and made TikTok. And now there is a Chinese version called Douyin, and the English version, TikTok. Their servers are separate, but other than that, it's exactly the same app. S-tier knockoff. Couldn't get any better than that. So while this is a thing that happens, it's not the most common. Usually, we end up with a company like Li-Ning. Li-Ning is a well-known company. It has a really good reputation in China. It makes their own unique style of clothing and shoes, but their logo... Oh no! Now, to be fair to the company, they claim it's a coincidence. Oops. And because they don't have any other affiliation with Nike, I'm inclined to believe them, but I'm still putting it on this list because it's really close. Especially their old logo before they updated it. Yeah, we're stretching it here. I'll give them the A tier spot, and B tier is gonna have to go to Anta. So Li-Ning is a Chinese name, and they've written the romanization L-I-N-I-N-G, but it works in English. I can say Li-Ning in English, that's the company's name. Anta is a little weird. The name in Chinese obviously is Anta, but like, it doesn't sound right in English. But their stuff just kind of feels like a Li-Ning knockoff. They have actual stores. Like, you can go to a shopping mall and go to an Anta store. They're probably made in the same factory though, let's be honest. It's a real brand, but it still feels like a knockoff, if you know what I mean. So, B tier. Again in B tier, we've got Urka? It's B tier. So while I was editing this video, I actually discovered that sponsors the North Korean football team, so hey! E tier. Hui. Now this brand is a special case. They make knockoffs of everything. And in their making of knockoffs, they've kind of created a brand out of it. They have the Converse knockoff, they have the Asics knockoff, they have the Tiger knockoff, they have Adidas version, the Nike knockoff, and all of them look dope. The Vans knockoff was my favorite for a while, but unfortunately they didn't make my size, and I smashed my feet into them for a long time before I finally decided it was not worth it. But somehow this company manages to make a knockoff of every other company's shoe in their own style. And they're successful out of it. And the best part is their shoes are cheap. So it's not like you're buying a standard knockoff shoe, or like one of these. In fact, hold on.
6.5 hours later. A few moments later.
All right, these are not Nike shoes. They look like Nikes. They feel like Nikes. They've lasted me as long as Nikes. And they're pretty well done. Nike free. And essentially what they do is Nike decided it was a good idea to send all of their factories to China to make the manufacturing cheaper. And then the manufacturers have all the plans and everything, and they're like, well, we know how to make the shoes. It's just materials glued and sewn together. So they make the exact same shoe again, and then sell it to someone else. I've realized more and more, like, every company does this. It's not just a Chinese thing. Like, have you ever had a supermarket generic brand of a product? Did you know that they're generally made by the same company? So one huge factory kitchen gets hired to make Jif peanut butter, and then that same factory gets hired to make Ralph's own brand peanut butter. And then it's the same peanut butter. And they put it in 2 different logoed jars, and they taste exactly the same. Maybe they'll tweak it a tiny bit to make it legal. These companies do essentially the same thing with these shoes, except they don't try to hide it. They're just like, yeah, it's a Nike shoe. It's just not sold by Nike. Then you have this type of knockoff. These are tigers. Tigers. On the outside, if I was to wear these, you'd be like, yeah, he's wearing tiger shoes. They look like tigers, but that's where the similarity ends. They're not made out of like nice suede. They hurt. And it's fun to have them because tiger doesn't actually make this color. But like, it's not like having a real pair of tigers. You get the style, you don't get the feel. But back to Hui Li. These are their... You're totally copying ASICs, aren't you? But at the same time, they're dope. It's like, that is totally the ASICS logo. So it's like a knockoff that's not quite a knockoff, but it is. So here's the name of the brand. They're called Warrior in English, which, thank you for having an English name. And I paid $15. So, Hui Li, A tier. They're not quite S tier because they haven't taken over any of the original companies, but they have, you know what? They're a different kind of S tier. Moving them up. They've established themselves as a cool brand, even though they're a knockoff brand. Here is their version of the knockoff Nike logo. Kind of its own thing, but it's clearly a Nike logo. A&5. Now here we've got a pair of $50 shoes. Their name is Do Win. No, this isn't like doing as in like, let's do it. I'm doing something. No, that's actually kind of clever. And their slogan is, I do. I win. Do win. Are these patriotic shoes? Or are they cinema shoes? I guess it's not really a knockoff. It is its own thing, but it belongs on the tier list. And it gets a D. Don't win. And here we have Mei-Xi, or if you try to pronounce it in English, Mexi? Mexi. It sounds like a person speaking crappy French. Thank you for the, Mexi. Their logo isn't a knockoff of Nike's, but I also can't say I like their logo, so maybe it should have been. But who cares, because this is technology future. Pure technolo. These shoes have pure technolo? Oh, pure technolo. Pure technolo.
清扫工作已启动，请稍等。
Pure technolo.
Pure Techmolo. Technology. What is that all about?
I mean, after all, this is Selfie City, so, you know, pure technolo.
请稍等。
Pure Techmolo. Is it good or is it wonderful?
Oh, grr!
Pure Techmolo.
Always so sexy in the shoes fashion circle. Maiden
Or is it
shoes.
whack?
Classic
Or is
forever.
it whack?
Oh, grr! For $20 though, D tier? No! Grr! Whoa! Dude!
Oh, dude. Are you from America?
That is pure technolo.
No.
Next we have guerenial, which translates to expensive man bird. I guess expensive bird person? They've got selling points such as match with bump shading and 3 fashion colors. Not regular colors, these are fashion colors. Remember like those SD cards? Fashion technology. The same way you walk with the wind. That's not how I would walk with the wind. They're fine, I guess. They're not gonna be like Hui Li shoes. But they definitely could have come up with their own logo. D tier.
And I give you a piece of advice.
Bezos. I did not realize that was why Jeff Bezos quit Amazon. He wanted to start a shoe company in China.
What's your style?
Negative style.
My child's out of me. You're a shark and I'm swimming. Heart still thumbs.
If there can only be one cool, maybe it should be from strict local sources. That sounds accidentally profound, if you know what I mean. Like if that was written on like a package of strawberries I found in the US, I might be inclined to believe them. Something tells me that this shoe is not from strict local sources, though. The fact that it ships from Shanghai. Wear resistant. I think they mean wear resistant, although I'm not 100% sure with a product like this, because I would say that these shoes are wear resistant. When I try to wear them, they resist me wearing them by being incredibly uncomfortable. I guess Bezos will go in D tier. Yeezy. For a long time, remember those Kanye shoes, the Yeezys? Those were super popular here, and not in the buying Kanye's Yeezys way, but in the creating of knockoffs based on Kanye's Yeezys way. The advertising for these shoes, big factory manufacturing, shoe type, one-to-one development, original Bass popcorn. Oh, is it BASF? But wait, right below it, it says imported BUSF. How do you make that kind of mistake? That's such an easy thing. They're not even next to each other on the keyboard. It's not a typo. You did that on purpose.
吊打同高位所有的椰子，从细节设计到质感都无可挑剔。今天给大家推荐一双我们家的好看鞋款，椰子山葵满天星。怕你们给我直播，我专门从官网上买了一双歪版，到手一看，
I'm not gonna fault them for this because
连这个外国看了都赞不绝口。
it's part of TikTok culture.
兄弟们，这颜值，这配置，我心想没见了，真稀哦。
C tier. I'll be nice. You remember how in the coffee equipment episode I said that Mavo felt like the knockoff of the knockoff? How about the Mingren? That makes literally the exact same shoe. And just writes Mingren instead of Feiyue. Hui Li is South Park. Where South Park won't not make fun of anyone, they won't not knock off anyone. So because they've knocked off everyone and made their version of that shoe, it's kind of become their own brand. I can't give this other company the same credit because they're not an established brand and they're just trying to piggyback on an already popular product. So, Mingren, E tier. And to top it all off, in their description of this product, they write 正品, which means genuine product. I'm really bad at ending videos, so I think the best way for me to do this is to just abruptly end it, which is now what you're expecting. And that joke's been done, so I can't do that. I want to end the video in a way that is completely not cliche. It's been sitting out for a little while. Not as good anymore. You know, in China, videos of people eating with their mouth open are weirdly popular. I think because culturally, chewing with your mouth open is not inappropriate. And that's fine. It's their own culture. They can do what they want. But coming from Western culture, I hate seeing it. But that's how people advertise food. They'll live stream. and then they'll just have someone eating and just like.
屏幕中间领到
所以
菜
这个玩意
以后下单选大果
they
选
come
9斤
from
的，选5斤的。
Liaoning Province.
皮儿很薄，你看我都没有煮皮儿。我这个是果园子里面直销的，可不是那个，可不是说是
really
那
good.
个就是库存里面积压的货啊，不是的。
Once you finish them,
不是的啊，
it's good to have
果
it
园
with,
这里面直吗？
with some oolong tea. This oolong tea, it's very good. If you click below, you can get a discount. That's what I think of your shoes.